Hi everyone, this is Menika, the Community Engagement Librarian here at the Anchorage Public Library, and I am here today to give you some book recommendations in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Before we get started, I do want to recognize that I am filming this video here at Lusac Library, which is on Denina land. I'm going to start out with some of our great young adult fiction novels that we've got here. The first one is Furia by Yamile Said Mendez, and follows a young woman living in Argentina whose biggest passion is football or soccer, but her family has different expectations for her. Next, we have Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, just in time for spooky season. In Cemetery Boys, the main character is a brujo who's trying to prove himself to his family. And then the last of the YA that I've pulled today is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, who is a Dominican author and writes really beautifully. And in this one, she follows a young high school student who is exploring a possible career in culinary arts as she sort of leans on her passion for cooking. We've got lots of great romance novels. I'm just going to give you one today. This one is called Crashing Into Her by Mia Sosa. The two main characters meet. They have like a really casual fling, and then they go their separate ways. But as Ava is restarting her career, she goes to a trading school, and guess what? He's the teacher there. So lots of great tension in this one. And then I've got here The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. You may have heard of her. She's got a lot of different novels that kind of fit into the fantasy, leaning into horror realm. This one is set in the Belle Epoque and follows a character with telekinetic powers. So going into our literary fiction over here, we've got Sabrina and Karina by Kali Fajardo Anstine. And this is set in Denver, Colorado, and it's a collection of stories that follow Latina women of indigenous descent as they sort of navigate the world. And then I've got The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, a classic taught in schools, but also beloved by people of all ages. If you haven't read Sandra Cisneros, it's a great place to start. And then I have here Crossing Borders by Rigoberta Menchú, and this is actually the second part of her memoir. So Rigoberta Menchú, if you haven't heard of her, led a pretty incredible life. She is of Mayan descent. She is from Guatemala, and in the 1980s, the Guatemalan military actually destroyed her town, and she fled to Mexico, where she lived in exile for about 12 years, and she did a lot of organizing around indigenous issues and actually won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1992. So this second part of her memoir covers her exile and leading up to the Nobel Peace Prize award. And not a lot of folks know that we have a really great world language collection. So we've got lots of books in Spanish, and we also have lots of movies in Spanish. So I just wanted to share a couple with you today. This is La Casa de los Espíritus by Isabel Allende, a classic, and we have lots of work by Isabel Allende, both in Spanish and in English. So highly recommend that you check that out. We also have a lot of movies in Spanish. So I brought to you today Roma, which was originally aired on Netflix, but we have it on DVD, and you may have heard of it because it did really, really well at the Oscars and all the other awards shows just a couple years ago, I think in 2019. So Roma, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. And of course, we have lots of good cookbooks. If you have ever seen any of my recommendation videos in the past, you knew I couldn't pass up a cookbook. And this one was recommended to me by Rayette Sterling, who's the branch manager over at Mountain View. And I'm so glad that she did because it looks absolutely amazing. It's called Trejo's Tacos, and it's by Danny Trejo. And I didn't know, has a taco restaurant in LA. And so these are all recipes that come from the restaurant. And I like the way that he structures the book. He sort of talks about like the main ingredients that you need, so the sauces, either your meats or your vegetarian options, and then how you can build that into a burrito, a taco, or a bowl. So I really love this one. I'm really excited to try some recipes from this. And of course, I really love the beautiful food photography in it. And then lastly, I am just going to leave you with this picture book called Vamos, Let's Go Eat, and it's by Raul III. And this has some really amazing illustrations. A lot of the book text is in English, but it also includes Spanish phrases and words as well. So it's really, really a fun book. And the same author actually has one also that's called Vamos, Let's Go to the Market, which is just as fantastic of a book. So I hope that you saw something of interest to you in our recommendations here. You can always, of course, reach out to a librarian for a more specific recommendation if you're looking for something. And these books are all available to you either at one of our branches if you want to just come in and grab it, or you can place it on hold and have it sent directly to your branch if we don't have a copy of these specific books at your local branch. And if you need any help with that, you can always call us at 343-2975, and we are happy to help. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.